and the rate is going up again, thus the bulls aren't thinking of backing off. But also the efforts of the project developers are giving hope to Waves to get back in the top 30. At some point, the link would go above $14, and its growth on the global chart looks almost like a vertical line. Welcome to the Coin Post. If you want something eye-opening, I suggest you look at the price of the Yearn Finance token project, which appeared on the market this summer and has already increased from $800 to $7,000. I understand, of course, that DeFi projects are pretty trendy right now, and that this token has an extremely small emission of only 30,000. But if you visit their official website, it says the project isn't beta, and you can use it at your own risk. And I'm just wondering what it's gonna be like when we face all those risks. And now onto the central issue of the video. Today, in addition to Bitcoin, we're gonna look at the following coins: the Waves top technology project, the most successful hard fork of the first Bitcoin Cash cryptocurrency, and the anonymous Zcash coin. Subscribe to our channel and turn on the notifications, please. And let's start. Bitcoin price has already twice marked $12,000. The first time, it was like when you crush a brick wall and bounce back. The second one was reassuring, because for some time, the price was above the given level. The rollback was only $500 instead of $1,500 as the last time. And the rate is going up again, thus the bulls aren't thinking of backing off. It should be noted that the news is now promoting Bitcoin growth. For starters, mainstream media started mentioning it, though not as often as it was in the winter of 2017. Still, it's quite good. Secondly, the US has a very reserved policy on cryptocurrencies, and even has a list of authorized assets. It must be considered as an addition to the previous authorization to store cryptocurrencies by commercial banks, and it finally illustrates how various institutions are entering Bitcoin. You can find the list and attachments in the Grayscale Investments Crypto Fund report for the American SEC regulator. Also, I'd like to have a look at the US stock market. Donald Trump took advantage of politicians' inability to negotiate in Congress and extended unemployment benefits with his executive order, imposed a tax ban and promised to abolish them altogether if re-elected for a second term. So Donald went back into the election race and at the same time created conditions for the stock growth. And as we know, Bitcoin also grows during these times, especially when people are giving free money and they need to invest it somewhere. Honestly, I'm not quite optimistic about the Bitcoin rate, but the news predictions and the situation in general indicate that bulls' hopes can be fulfilled, and I have to share this information with you. Next, we're having 3 more altcoins. We're gonna look into their cost, the features, and the prospects in the light of the latest news. Bear with us. I don't think you remember that Waves used to be $17 per coin in December 2017. Then it legitimately took place on the bear market. But this did not prevent the project from holding its position in the second tier of cryptocurrencies until the price soared in the fall of 2018, from $1 to $4. This growth may have prevented Waves from growing like Bitcoin in the summer of 2019, and in December of the same year we saw the second bottom at just above 50 cents. Today, in 2020, we can say that the correlation with Bitcoin returned to Waves, allowing the price to rise to $2 once the entire cryptocurrency market recovered. However, not only the market trends, but also the efforts of the project developers are giving hope to Waves to get back in the top 30 and then enter the top 20. The secret to Waves' future success may lie in 3 words, namely Ethereum, DeFi, and staking. Based on their blockchain, they created the Neutrino decentralized finance project, which is intended to create a bridge with the Ethereum network and to offer users of the second most popular cryptocurrency to earn from the staking of the USDN algorithmic stablecoin. Overall, Waves is counting on Ethereum's broad audience, as well as on such popular and fast-growing factors as decentralized finance and staking. Therefore, there is a good chance that the project developers' efforts will lead to the price increase of this cryptocurrency. Now we're in the middle of the video, and it's time for you, my dear audience, to give your likes, while moving on to the next altcoin. Do you also get the impression that Bitcoin Cash is kinda missing from the day's agenda? They certainly don't give up on what they call the real or even the best Bitcoin. And Roger Ver still supports the project, maybe in a bit lazy manner lately. I remember him and Craig Wright fighting over his pocket cryptocurrency, but after that, not a thing. In April 2020, Bitcoin Cash survived its halving, after which the hash rate dropped half and then somewhat recovered, and now the miners are returning as the price increases. It's essential that the halving did not affect Bitcoin Cash, and the coin is following the Bitcoin. Concerning transactions, we've seen a significant decline in the last couple of months. And now the blockchain very rarely processes more than 20,000 transfers per day. It's also possible that someone switched off their spam machine and the transaction counter just went back to normal. The current Bitcoin Cash price is $300. It's still the top 5 cryptocurrency, and I say still because since August 8th, the Chainlink token has entered the competition, reached the 6th place in the coin market cap rating, and is already threatening Bitcoin Cash. At some point, the link would go above $14, and its growth on the global chart looks almost like a vertical line. I stand by my opinion, and I still consider this movement pure speculation, but it keeps working, and I'm afraid to tell whether the rate will go up. But let's get back to the Bitcoin Cash review. As it should be, altcoins already got a few minutes of fame in the growing market. The altcoins keep hitting it off. And if you're not afraid to trade for the midterm, the strategy of keeping a couple of cryptocurrencies in your portfolio and taking the profits during their pump is quite reasonable. But keep in mind, the market depends on Bitcoin, and the fairy tale might come to an end if it suddenly crashes. I don't want it to happen, but I have to warn you. Bitcoin Cash has good chances, although I don't like this project because it's exploiting Bitcoin. But let's keep our personal views away. If Bitcoin Cash doesn't fail and we have indeed entered the new bull market phase, Bitcoin Cash is likely to make its owners happy. The next coin, however, may pump shortly. So get to the end of the video, subscribe to the channel, and help me popularize the entire cryptocurrency industry. You can argue which of the two anonymous cryptocurrencies, Monero or Zcash, is better, and I'm sure the supporters of both projects. So share in the comments what you think. But if you look at the statistics from the blog about darknet, we get the obvious leader. So Bitcoin came first, followed by Monero, which is respected for its confidentiality. And then we have Litecoin in the third place, quite unexpectedly though. Perhaps because it's like mini Bitcoin and the coin is quite common. But we are interested in Zcash today, and it fell almost to the bottom of the list. How do you explain this? I recently told a story of how I managed to trace a transaction from a secure address to Zcash, and the developers recognized this problem and said that if you want total anonymity, you shouldn't use public addresses at all. On the other hand, markets and exchangers prefer to work with public addresses, and it turns out that few would follow this rule, so marketplace traders may not trust Zcash. However, that's a very controversial statement because if they were so afraid of disclosure, they wouldn't be working with Bitcoin and Litecoin, which blockchain is entirely public. As for other indicators, the Zcash hash rate is growing steadily, and the number of transactions per day is at about the same level. What can be called the miners' confidence in the project and their own regular users' database. But whether it will lead to a sharp price increase or have to wait up after the Bitcoin, I would probably choose the second option. This chart shows how its price has been snowballing for one day in the last month. You can also see DaVinci 15 and say that there's some kind of double bottom on the 4-hour chart. Only time will tell whether it works out. And as for the information in this video, bear in mind that this is not a financial recommendation. I'm looking forward to reading your comments with suggestions about other altcoins. And that's it for today. Thank you for watching. It's the Coin Post channel. Subscribe and get enlightened.